And we are live.
And we are live. Right?
You know, Charles, I worry every day we come on. I worry. I don't know what you can do. Um, I really don't
Don't
know.
don't worry. Be happy. Aloha, everyone. It's a beautiful Saturday, the 9th of May. You're here with Mel and Charlie live. I'm Charlie Yona. This is my partner Mel. How you doing, Mel?
I'm actually doing really well. Hang on while why is this not happening here? Hold on. Anyway, it is happening. I was wondering why last night I had texted you
Yeah.
to play as the outgoing song, uh, don't worry,
Well,
everything's gonna be all right. But then when I woke up this morning and I look at my phone, I forgot to hit send. That's what I was wondering. Why you not going with the script, bro? You never get
that's
the
the
text.
that's the reason why. That's the reason why.
Because you never get the text. So anyway, hey, welcome everybody. Thank you guys all for joining us tonight on the eve of Mother's Day. So just want to say that tomorrow night we are going to take a break. We're going to let you guys enjoy your Mother's Day evening, and we are going to enjoy our Mother's Day evenings with our wives. And so we'll be back on Monday. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I just wanted to welcome everybody again tonight. We have Darcie Yukimura. She's the senior director for Hawaii Community Foundation here on Kauai, and she's in the waiting room right now with an amazing presentation. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I know you see the flatten the curve shirts in the back of Charlie, and I'm still wearing mine. But that shirt's pow. That shirt's done. We're into the Doodle Boy shirt. This is the deal. The front says "Don't be a," and on the back, Doodle Boy. And if you can see all the sayings that we all have got accustomed to. And of course, on the bottom, thank you, Mayor Kawakami, for sharing that wonderful term with us when he visited us a couple weeks ago or a week ago. So anyway, if you want a shirt, private message me on Messenger and tell me how many shirts, what sizes, and I will send you a Venmo link so you can pay. All proceeds, all 100% of the proceeds, thanks to Kirk Correa at Island Athletic Tees, all of that $15 goes to Hawaii Community Foundation, who happens to be on tonight with us, and I'm going to bring her on in here. Oh yeah, don't forget everybody. Oh my gosh, there she is. Look at her, an expert. Got the right lighting. She's got, oh, no audio though, no audio. Ah,
Hi, Charlie. Hi, Mel.
there
Thank you
you
so much.
Hey, hi.
right. Okay, so everybody, before we get started, hit the share button, start a watch party, share this on your timeline so we can get this thing out to as many people, because Darcie, again, this is Darcie Yukimura, Senior Director with Hawaii Community Foundation, and she is going to be sharing with us tonight. And I got to figure out, hang on, I got to figure out how will I allow you to share the screen. I think I can, I think I
Ask her.
can.
Ask her how she does it.
Right
I
here.
think I can.
Boom.
I think I can.
Boom. Nope, now you can. Now you
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Now
I don't
you
need to
can.
right now, though.
Okay, perfect. So anyway, Darcie, I know, thank you for joining us tonight. And happy Mother's Day for tomorrow.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, we're basically, we do this every night, inform and educate the public, and you know about our campaign. You see the shirts hanging behind of Charlie's back. That was the original shirt. And Kirk Correa from Island Athletic Tees came up to me and said, Mel, let's do a shirt, the Mel and Charlie show, and let's sell it, and whatever money you guys can give to a charity. And I told Kirk, nobody's gonna buy that thing. There's nobody on this planet that's gonna buy this thing. Anyway, I was wrong. Kirk was right. We're up to about $1,900 now and we chose the Hawaii Community Foundation to donate the money to.
Wow.
But then Kirk came up with this other idea of the Doodle Boy shirt. That's the front. Don't be a, Doodle boy.
Doodle boy.
And there's all the sayings of what we have learned in this COVID-19 time, all the different
Oh,
phrases, and of course on the bottom, thank you, Mayor Kawakami. Mayor Kawakami was on our show, and he he said basically he reminded us of the term doodle boy. That
You
thing
brought it
went
back.
viral. Everybody's asking for shirts, so we now on the doodle boy shirts, and I think we've sold over 50 shirts so far. So anyway, we're going to run this campaign as long as we can. And when it's done, Darcie, we will present you a check for the 100%. Kirk isn't taking a penny. Of course, we're not taking a penny. So all of the proceeds will go to you to continue what you do.
That means so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for doing this show. I just think that, you know, right now when we're distance, we need time to get to talk together and process. There's so much new information happening. So I appreciate that you're doing that, and you're bringing on experts, a really amazing list of folks that have been on here. So people are getting the firsthand knowledge, and they're able to make good decisions for themselves because of it. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
And
And
thank you for the
obviously
gift.
we wanted to bring, you know, Hawaii Community Foundation has done so much for Kauai, or for the state actually, but as far as Kauai is concerned, for Kauai for so long. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Give us an overview of what Hawaii Community Foundation is, and then go right into what we are doing specifically for this COVID-19 process. So you have the floor.
Okay, well, thanks so much. And I hope it's more of a discussion. I just share a little bit about Hawaii Community Foundation. I feel really blessed to be a part of it. It's a 102-year-old organization that was born in Hawaii, born out of the Hawaiian Bank, which predates Bank of Hawaii. And that was back when, you know, if you had no heirs, your bank took your estate and they gave it to charities. So over the 100 years, we've been able to build endowment, and we're here in perpetuity. We're like a bank for charity that is going to be giving to nonprofits in perpetuity. And right now, we do about $70 million a year in grants, and that's scholarships as well as helping the nonprofits here within our state on Kauai. And I guess we kind of focus on everything. We're there kind of for all nonprofits, but we really want to use the small, in perspective, charitable dollars are small in compared to government dollars and to how we can like help the social sector. So what we try to do is put a lot of good data together, look at the needs of the community and see where we can make the best investment. So that's what I do along with my team here on Kauai with Yuri Martos and Robin Pratt. It's just the three of us, but you know, really appreciate how the community has stepped up over the years, and especially in this COVID-19 crisis. We're seeing giving by people of all spectrum, of the whole spectrum, and it's really made a huge difference. So mahalo.
Okay, Darcie, let me ask you: is the organization statewide? That's number one, and number two, if you can tell us a little something about what you're targeting right now because of COVID. Is it like the real small ones in rural communities, or is it county based? I mean, how are you folks spreading those dollars around?
Well, yes, our focus since we first heard about it, our focus has been, I think on March 14th, we stood up the Hawaii Resilience Fund. And that was so that Hawaii could be resilient against the effects of COVID. So far, we've raised over $10.5 million. We've given out over $6.7 million through the fund and through other funds at the foundation. Our focus has been in a phased approach. So phase one was really on the healthcare aspect. It was getting tests focusing on our healthcare organizations, our big hospitals, as well as our community-based hospitals, and supporting people from the most vulnerable for staying in place and staying, keeping safe. We've gone through that phase. We're kind of wrapping up through our second phase, which has been emergency finances, emergency assistance, emergency food. We know that food and dollars, finances are going to kind of be with us throughout the duration until the economy comes back. So we're prepared for that, we're planning for that. And then we're moving into phase 3 and 4, which is about kind of getting back to normalcy. And then phase 4 is how can we rebuild better, right? And how can we start laying down tracks now that give us better outcomes in the future.
Okay, good.
But we're definitely working on those both levels, Charlie, as we're giving to large organizations to help us, like say for example, food. We need to support our food banks and our large distributions of food so that it filters down through the small organizations that are getting into each neighborhood. So we're doing that layer as well as doing the small neighborhood-based organizations that are reaching, they know who is in need. They know the family that needs, they know where the kupuna are and how to get to them. So it's important that it's both. And actually, one of the pictures I wanted to share, Charlie, was one that your wife sent me early on with E Olamau and the work that's happening on the West Side, Uncle Dennis and all the churches. It was early on, and I just wanted to say it gave us as HCF staff, I shared it with our staff because it gave us so much hope, to see that even as we were just fundraising and didn't have a lot to give out, a little bit of an investment in the community can
go a long way.
It goes a long way, but we're just supporting what's already happening on the ground. So I don't
Yeah.
that, but I mean, there's so much great activity that's happening out there, and it's really because of good folks like them who, don't wait to be told, don't wait for a mandate, but just do what they can. So, I'll just share this story because, what they're able to do is they're getting the fishermen and they're able to pay our fishermen to keep fishing. We're able to pay our small farmers while our farmers markets are closed. We're able to keep our local food economy going to feed the people. And charitable dollars just help pay for that. So our families can get fed, our kupuna can get fed without cost. Okay, let me see if I can share it. And if I can't, then
I hope so. The
Okay.
wonderful, there we go.
How's
Oh,
that?
look at that.
And
Oh, there you go.
there's the action right there, right? It's just Kauai. It just to me shared about who we are as a community and how we come together. And I wanted to just thank you guys for the good work that's happening there and across the island. And we're seeing and hearing good stories like this all the time. Another great story that I had, we got this, and I wanted to put this on your show, Mel, because I'm looking for the author of this letter. It says, "Dear HCF, thank you for all that you do in the community to fight COVID-19 and get resources to those who need it. We would like this donation to go to the Kauai Strong Fund for COVID-19. Thank you so much." And it's a picture of Kauai and says, "Thank you." And there was $20, a $20 bill inside. And I don't know which precious child sent us this note, but I wanted to see if anyone knows. We'd love to thank you properly, but also just to share the heart of, what we're seeing, the good people out there just sharing of their resources to help each other.
Darcie, what makes you think that was a kid? That sure looks like my handwriting.
Let me see if I can.
You know, there's so many people out there doing good work. You know, so many organizations and churches and individuals, and the Hawaii Community Foundation makes it possible for a lot of these to get the resources, like you just explained, to go out and pay the fishermen so they can go out. A lot of people aren't working right now, and yeah, I just talked to a couple today that both not working and haven't received their unemployment check yet, and it's been 6 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it is, and you know they're managing, but the food giveaways that's going on, there's been a whole bunch. There's a big one that happened today at the county at the at the stadium. There's been, I know some of the labor unions have done it at their offices, and there's just a whole lot going on. So, but it takes the resources, and I wrote it down. You had 10.5 million coming in and 6.7 going out so far, and you know we don't know when this will end. And the process is your fundraising. You mentioned fundraising. I know the Zuckerberg fund did the foundation. I think the Zuckerberg Foundation actually made a donation on Kauai, correct?
That's right. So it's Dr. Priscilla Chan and Mark Zuckerberg. They have a fund with Hawaii Community Foundation called the Chan Zuckerberg Kauai Community Fund. And they did give us a large donation to start helping with the COVID response. You know, they were early on in the response, so we want to mahalo them for kind of jumping in. They did the same during the floods. You know, they saw that our community was in need and they jumped in. So the first phase of their grant making went to support the county, the Kauai County Loan Program that was able to distribute $300,000 in emergency loans. They also provided a grant to Catholic Charities, which provides emergency grants. So if you need, you know, your utility bill paid, folks that need just a smaller amount to get you by, Catholic Charities is doing that. And they also did a great grant to Aina Ho'okupu o Kilauea. And it's Yosh and his family and that are doing a great job also being an aggregator for agriculture right now and just cranking out those CSA boxes and feeding our families with Kauai-based products.
Awesome. You know, and I just want to let you know, I'm not being rude when I'm looking down, but I have my phone that has the Facebook Live. Obviously, we don't see the comments on Zoom. So Charlie and I will both be looking down, scanning the comments. We don't have too many questions, a lot of positive. Somebody says you look like a porcelain doll. You're so beautiful. You look like a porcelain doll.
You know, Zoom has a filter that you can put on there. Someone just told me about that. So that's why.
Can I? Will it make me look better? I mean, look at my hair is like I need a barber. Jeez. So typically with the Hawaii Community Foundation, I know in my years on the council, a lot of people would donate money or they wanted to donate money to the community, and they needed someone that they could trust, number one, that could manage the funds. And you know, Hawaii Community Foundation, I believe, is the leading I don't know what you called it, placeholder, I guess, in the state. But typically so these people come in as philanthropists and they say, hey, we want to donate $1 million, Hawaii Community Foundation. This is what we want it to go for. And then you guys basically manage the fund from that point on.
Right. It's a charitable donation when it comes to HCF. And then we manage the fund according to how their preference. We have an endowment. So it's invested in perpetuity. The interest will always go into the community. And then otherwise they can just put it in their fund. They can take the tax deduction and then work with us, we kind of serve as like a, my former boss, he called it a wingman. We kind of buck it out and say, I think that's a good fit for you. You really like food. You really like local grown. I think you want to go here. We vet the organization, and then we're the ones that claim the responsibility, right? So we'll do the due diligence and we'll make sure that it's a good investment.
Let me ask you. Go ahead,
real
Mel.
quick. These funds that we just talked about, that are COVID-19 specific, these are targeted for Kauai only, or is it statewide?
There's a range. So we are fundraising with the Hawaii Resilience Fund. We also are fundraising with the Kauai Strong Fund, and that's keeping dollars on Kauai. And I really want to thank actually the Kauai County, the mayor and his administration invested with it. And that's how we use the Kauai County Loan Program, as well as they've invested in disaster preparedness. So one way that we got off the ground really quickly, our first grants out, was because the county partnered with HCF. Mayor and his administration had the good foresight to say, we need resources in the queue to get out quickly if a disaster hits. And we really didn't expect to have to use it so soon after the floods, but as it is. So our first grants out were actually because of that partnership. And then people are, doing what they can through their own means. So the Kukuyula, the owners at Kukuyula actually just stood up a fund, and they've been rapidly getting grants out to the community as well. So a range of different ways, just like the responses, whoever can do what they can are jumping in and doing that now.
Okay, you spoke earlier of phases, right? And can you tell the viewers, like, how was the phases established? I'm pretty sure you're following a model based on what the current activity was going on, and then a move from there. Kind of explain to them, how Hawaii Community Foundation set up these phases. So, because it seems very target specific, when you folks were going towards each phase, you knew exactly what you're trying to target. And then I'm sure by the time you reach the last phase, it kind of ties everything together, right? More or less.
Well, we hope, right? We're really trying to do that. So our leadership team, we meet every other morning, and we're getting grants out the door, and we're talking about how are we giving these grants out so that they build that better future. But actually, the way the phases came about came from the Kauai floods in 2018. And we learned so much from that time. And that's really where I think the big aha moment came, that the community knows how to solve the community's problems best. And it's not going to be the foundation and research and best practices that's going to dictate how the community recovers, because we know our community best. And so I just, give credit to our CEO, Mike Akane. He's such a compassionate leader, and he saw that right away. So it kind of flipped our model on its head, where we were listening to the community, and our team is able to bring that list of, okay, this is what the community needs, this is what they're saying, and then the funds come there. And because of what we experienced there, that, we needed to meet immediate needs, shelter, food, and then how could we help folks get back to normalcy? Even though we're not fully recovered, we need to start. It's for mental health, it's for productivity. It's so getting, folks, at that time it was the kids back in school or in childcare, so that parents could clean and get their home in order and get back to work. And we learned so much from that opportunity that's how we created the phases. And it's in line with national practices as well.
Now, I know we like to look at all the successes, right? But I'm sure, I mean, there's got to be some maybe that just couldn't quite make it. And so what do you folks do with those kind of programs? Do you continually invest in them to maybe try a little harder? But because I know your dollars is only so much. So there's gonna come a point in time where if they can't turn the corner, you're gonna have to make that tough decision to cut it off. I mean, I would assume that. So
yeah, definitely. We have the you know, we went through the Great Recession, and we saw organizations that had to close. I've been with the foundation now 12 years, so I got to see that. And I heard stories from the field from 9/11. So, you know, it's true that some, you know, there may not be funds for everybody, right? Where fundraising right now is really hard for those folks that did a big gala and were able to raise, you know, most of their operating funds. They're not able to do that this year. And how are they going to stay afloat? You know, this is something that it's not located in just one small geographic area. And we have other people who are fine, who are able to contribute and fill in those gaps. This is something that's affected everybody, right? So there are going to be some, you know, some consequences for sure. And, you know, no grant money can keep doors open. But I am seeing where organizations are pivoting and they're making themselves relevant, even if they can't do their normal line of business. And that's where we're seeing success, right? If you're able to, if you have a board that's going to be supportive of you saying, you know, we got to do something different to meet the needs right now. And one organization that I saw do that was Boys and Girls Club. You know, their business model is on packing the kids in, getting as many kids as you can and keeping them safe and educated in the after school hours. And when they couldn't do that, they decided to go online. And so they have every single day, Monday through Friday, they have like a list of classes now. So it's keeping the kids, you know, we know they're online anyway, but it's keeping them online in a positive way. It's also keeping our kids connected to mentors where they're, you know, they're not seeing their teachers. They're not seeing those trusted adults that they need to connect with every day to stay healthy. But they're able to do that online. And then they're doing food distribution to their membership. So, you know, that's just an example of pivoting to meet the need. And then you know, funding is available to meet those needs and can be directed there. So that's what we're seeing is, but I really feel the nonprofit community is kind of the front lines in disaster for our neighborhoods and our kids, you know, and they know how to meet those needs.
okay, thank you.
Right. Yeah.
And that's really what is needed. You know, I mean, I know we see businesses that are shutting down for good. You know, we talk about this almost every night. Liki comes up, but there's also a lot of business on Kauai that's basically just hanging on and not sure if they're going to survive this. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We don't, you know, right now the numbers look good, but we also know that the visitors are starting to come back. We don't know what this is going to be like. And the neighborhoods, you see small businesses, you get the SBA organizations, you get all these banks offering assistance and low interest loans and so forth. But for the families that don't have food, for the families that don't have an unemployment check, for the families that are not able to go to the bank and do a signature loan for 10,000 or 20,000, and this is where the neighborhoods, the communities got to step in, and they need that lifeblood, which is like you folks. You know, since this started, how much money has been on Kauai? That's just one of the questions from a viewer. How much money has actually been from HCF and not from the other sources? But do you have any idea of what that number is?
I don't have that number handy right now. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
okay.
can get that to you again.
Yeah, no, no problem. That's the thing with this is so live. You know, we take these questions. It's like, whoa, unscripted, totally unscripted.
You know,
There was one.
question. Another question came about is and I don't know how pertinent it is, but I guess somebody wanted to know. You know, just when monies are given out,
Mhm.
when grants are given out to especially nonprofits. First of all, a nonprofit it have to be a 501c entity.
Yeah, in most cases, yeah.
Okay. So one person had asked, when these monies are distributed, is there a list compiled that is readily available that people examine, or that's how do you work that? So they know, if they're in that area, maybe they can gravitate towards those nonprofits for help because they don't know where it's going, I guess.
Okay, well, we are updating our website weekly. And so right now, hawaiicommunityfoundation.org/COVID-19 will show there's a list of grantees and how much each grantee received. We're trying to be as transparent as possible. These are not our dollars, they're trusted to us. And so you'll see the grants by phases. And like I said, it doesn't cover every single grant. These are grants coming out of our Kauai Strong Fund, and we have other Neighbor Island Strong Funds as well as the Resilience Fund, but it gives you a good idea. And we do have a process of where nonprofits apply, although we didn't create a new application. We really wanted to make it easy, understanding the nonprofits are carrying such a huge load right now. So they're able to send a brief email, a few paragraphs of what they need, and then we're taking it under review with our executive leadership. So we meet 3 times a week, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we examine each and every proposal.
Okay.
Kauai Strong Fund. If I know, there's probably a few millionaires watching right now, and maybe they're not live, but they will watch tomorrow. That is the fund that would be specific to the Kauai response to COVID-19.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, thank you, Mel.
No, I just I wasn't aware of that. So at least we know where the t-shirt money going. I mean, it's not much, but what the heck? It's and HawaiiCommunityFoundation.org is your website.
Right.
And the application is on the website, or I'm assuming they can, if anyone has any questions as far as qualifications for some of these grants, everything is available on that website, right?
Right. Our website's updated. There's a section on how you can apply for grants. And, we're available. So Robin, Yuri, and we're talking to nonprofits every day. We're trying to stay up with information on, where are the CARES Act money going? How can we make sure that the charitable dollars do their best to leverage those funds or do what we can? And we're looking at where the needs are. So
Yeah, I know Senator Kochi was on last night, and he mentioned that Kauai is going to get a share of that CARES Act. Unfortunately, I guess just the way it is it's based on population, so Kauai gets a much smaller share. But we are going to be getting those funds. Do you folks get any funds from that act, or is that just goes to government, or does that somehow funnel to HCF?
No, we are not receiving CARES Act funding. I think what we really try to do is support the government in making those good decisions on how, on where they spend. So one example is, you may have seen on the news that Honolulu City and County gave $1 million towards food, and HCF matched that $1 million. It was a good investment by the city and county, but also that I believe they could get reimbursed through the FEMA and CARES Act system. And so we like to come in support in those ways. That's why it was really a pleasure to join up with Kauai County, with their emergency loan program. Any way we can kind of leverage and support government funds, because we know that's where the biggest dollars are, the biggest impact can be made there. I really want to support that kind of good leadership, and then do what we can. So we're just seeing a lot of fruitfulness come from like the loan program and the emergency grants going out, where the banking community on Kauai is meeting together. We just saw another great zero interest loan program come out by the Kauai government employee, Kauai government employee federal credit union that just came out, and that was supported by the county. So we just love seeing that trickle effect. I think finances, we just did a survey of 133 nonprofits and asked them what's concerning you most. Number one was unemployment and finances. And number two is actually mental health, but we can talk about that later. So finances is really important. And I guess where we can support those emergency grants going out. And then with that loan program is actually with the Hawaiian Community Assets. And that's a community bank, CDFI, that exists for folks that can't get a banking relationship. So, we have about 50% of our population is called ALICE, Asset Limited Income Constrained. That means you're working, but you're not able to get assets. You're not able to make it basically on your income, and poverty below. So if half of our community is a paycheck away from poverty, then these banks really come into play. So those loan monies are actually going to be revolving for the community, that an investment there is going to grow the pot for our families that don't yet have a banking relationship, for whatever reason can't. And then we all know that once you have a banking relationship, now you have access to loan money. Now you have a bit of a cushion. You have someone behind you that can, maybe give you a break on your mortgage, or those kinds of things where you get a little bit of a cushion. And so it's really important that the county made that move, as well as the nonprofit partners that are working in that area to keep people afloat between now and when they get their unemployment check or when they get their next job. Thanks for allowing me to share there.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I think that's what a lot of the people that are going to be watching this or on right now are inquiring, what's available. I know your website, I think it was on the top, that the loan program was on the very top. I know I checked it out. I was going to say that Alice report is quite revealing when you look at how many people in our state working a lot and just not making it. And that relatively new, the Alice, I guess, system
Program,
or whatever you want to call it, but it's very revealing. And if you haven't seen it, just Google it. Then it's quite revealing as far as Hawaii is concerned. I mean, it's not anything that we don't know. Most of us know what that's like, but to look at the numbers, it's very revealing. So right now, that those programs, I know the credit union program, but as far as HCF is concerned, any available programs that are, I know the first funding went out, I think in 3 weeks it was gone, right? It went out to the families of Kauai.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any more funding anticipated or available for those loans, those no interest or low interest loans?
Well, thankfully, the Kauai Government Employees Credit Union stepped up. So I believe there's $400,000 available there. They have a really good threshold, low threshold maybe, for those that maybe don't have a banking relationship yet. They're a good place to explore. I just love the leadership there that is really compassionate, because now with, where are we at? Is a third of us are unemployed, or our numbers are very large, right? And so they understand that that's a a significant part of our community right now, and best to help each other. And then with Catholic Charities, they're doing emergency grants. CNHA, Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, they have a statewide program that is also doing the low interest loans and emergency grants, as well as Hawaii Community Assets. They have a location here in Anahola, and even though the county loan program expended all of its funds, they are there for the community. So there's added opportunity there for folks to receive some emergency loans. But I'm also seeing the banks. Bank of Hawaii has an ease program, and they will cash your check. If you don't have a bank, you don't have to go to a payday lender or a middleman that takes a large chunk of your check. That I believe Bank of Hawaii's ease program will allow you to cash your check there, especially as it's a US Treasury check. And a lot of banks are making those kinds of concessions. So I'm really encouraged to see our financial sector stepping in here for us.
Well, the longer this goes, you know, the problem's just not going to go away. And I think it's going to take a lot of the efforts of the community, the financial institutions, obviously the nonprofits like yourself, that's gonna be the go-to people, because I don't see anything changing. You know, tourism's such a huge industry here, but even if they open the gates tomorrow, it's gonna take some time for the hotels to build up to a point where, you know, we had Chip Behuth on the other night from the Sheraton, and he said basically until they reach 70%, they're not making money. Their break-even point is, you know, between 65 and 70% occupancy. And based on what's going on, you know, it's going to take a while to get to that point. And we don't even know when that's going to start. So a lot of people are going to be out of work for a while. And they're going to be leaning on the banks and the credit unions. You know, it's so funny because, not funny, but, you know, credit unions were formed, back in the day, the plantation days. And it was member owned, right? The communities got together, formed credit unions, put their money together, and that's how credit unions were formed. And it's almost where it's coming back to that, where we're relying on the community resources, relying on everybody, on each other to get through the day. And that's why I love Kauai, because we're not only resilient, but we're very helpful and generous. And I'm hoping that people on this show have that kind of disposable income, or needs a tax break. This is charitable contributions to Hawaii Community Foundation. Not that I'm doing a commercial, but it is. You get a tax write-off. You know, now it's hard to get a tax write-off on anything nowadays. But because you guys are a charitable organization, they can, right? They can. Is it like 100% of what I give to you, I can get a deduction?
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Charlie, as we go, put all your money there, Charlie.
Huh?
We'll put all your money there, man.
Well, I put all my money on you and I lost a whole bunch. So I don't know what left do I have.
I gotta tell you, somebody, some wise guy on this thing says he wants to we should do a fundraiser, and whoever, I guess he's talking like doing a bidding thing, and whoever bids the highest amount gets to shave my hair.
Oh. Hey,
I'm game. I'm game. You know what's I tell you what, the starting bid would be $1,000. Okay, yeah, you got shave my head live on Facebook. I don't care. I got a hat.
Could we do that?
We could. $1,000. Somebody, I tell you, $1,000. I got Venmo or whatever. I will put that in the t-shirt money too. I'll put it in the t-shirt money. That'll go to you.
Oh, we gotta make it a little more interesting, that they might spend more, that they get to cut your hair, but they will use the old-fashioned method. You know, one of those rusty scissors that will really take a long time and do that. And we'll start it off at $1,500 now. 15.
You know, if we went, if we set the bidding at $1 per hair, Charlie, you wouldn't raise that much.
Yeah, definitely. That's the Chinese in me.
Hawaii Community Foundation. Somebody's asking how can they donate. Look, oh, here we go. Tyson Moises donates $1,000. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Well, that's what he's saying. I don't know if he's being honest, but we're gonna hold him to it.
No, he's an honest guy. He's an honest guy, I tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Tyson, if it was any other time, Tyson, but right now, Uncle Charlie, put all his money.
I need the haircut. I may as well make some money for a worthy charity. Donation. I see Robin Pratt just posted the link. Thank you, Robin. She just posted the link on the Facebook page. But so for those of you, go ahead and click that. I did want to share some pictures. I know you shared some, but I did want to just share a couple here. And this is, uh-oh, can I? How come I cannot? Hang on. I don't know if this is even gonna work. Why? I cannot believe this. Oh, Lord have mercy. It won't let me do it. Open system preferences. What the heck? Charlie, go ahead and keep talking while I fix this.
Well, you know, I kind of wanted to ask that, you know, as far as the charitable side, you know, it's pretty clear, the picture that you painted for us tonight, Darcie. But like, and this may be a real off the wall question, but like for testing, do you folks do you have funding that gets involved with that? Because, and I'm saying that openly only because there's going to come a point in time that with this COVID, we've seen the transition it's making, right? We flattened the curve, now it's transitioning. But yet places that were models like South Korea, it's coming back with a fury now, you know, and stuff like that. But yet they're really good at what they do. And I think right now we're still subpar in some areas, especially when it comes to contact tracing and testing. Would you folks get involved providing some kind of funding if the help is needed, especially for rural communities? Like, you know, like some areas people are just can't go to get tested because they can't get a referral or they may not have medical. And I think it'll get to a point where, you know, we're going to have to account for everyone in the community, whether you're in a metropolitan area or whether you're on the outskirts. Would you folks get involved with something like that?
Absolutely. And we've provided funding for testing. We provided funding to, one of the first biggest concerns was homeless, you know, in Honolulu, especially, there's such a large homeless population,
right, that
they could not shelter. They can't shelter, right? And to receive food, if you don't have a home, you need to attend, you need to go someplace and interact with people. So we were part of funding a homeless shelter where they could convalesce in place in isolation. So absolutely, that's definitely a concern. It's going to be part of the recovery.
Okay. Because I know since Kauai and the Big Island has been the first to open up its retail, as an example, and while the majority was applauding, there were still some concerns because we kind of see like your programs, you see things in phases, and you know our mayor has done a great job. He's done a fantastic job. But then we also see on the state level that with these phases, we know that sooner or later the tourism will come back, because that's the infusion of new funds, right? It's, you know, we only have so much in the pot here at what we have. We need some new sources coming in. And we understand that, you know, you got the Gates, the Zuckerbergs, and the Omidyars, right? But, you know, there's only so many of them. It's not enough to really pick up the economy wise. So, you know, we got to rely on the tourists. And that's the thing that's frightening us right now, because it doesn't seem like the state has a real solid plan in case. And I used the example the other night. I've been using this example. We've had an opportunity to scrub everything clean. We're COVID free.
Yeah.
But now it's when that influx comes, because that's how it started the first time. do we have the ability to go play the game of cat and mouse? Because once it comes in, it's trying to chase it down and hunkering it down, you know, especially when you're talking about 30,000, 40,000 visitors at any given time. We're talking about a nightmare. So I think the counties alone or the state alone, they've had problems with the testing program, and I think they need help from people like your organization to help with those kind of things. And so I think that's why I posed the question to you. Just trying to see if it's there.
There's definitely support for it, and I know testing is expensive, right? And for a small community health center, it's a huge expense. So we're able to provide some support for that. Our rural communities are definitely top of mind because we don't have a lot of the services available in urban areas, but also I think it's been a blessing for us too, right? That we have separation. We have we're not using the same ventilation system as folks that live in apartments and things like that. And I just applaud Kauai that we were able to, our mayor has been tremendous. He took bold actions, and I love seeing that, that he, really set the pace for how serious this was. And then Kauai was right behind him saying, yes, we're going to comply because we know our vulnerabilities and we also want to protect each other. So super proud of my classmate, Derek, our mayor. He's just done a really great job, and our community continues to be kind of I'm in other conversations statewide, and they are always applauding Kauai, our mayor, and how we stick together. And we're okay with the curfew because that's going to protect our law enforcement. It's going to protect our first responders. We're going to stand behind our leader. So, and you guys are doing such a great job, bringing people together around, we're not around the water cooler or the campfire, right? But this is one way that we can kind of do that. Appreciate
That's
it.
as close as you're gonna get to the campfire as you can right now. But
Mel, why don't you tell us right now? People are we're getting threatened because we talked about winding down, and they're basically thinking, "Oh no, you guys aren't gonna wind down." So, they threaten us in a good way. It's a good way. You ready, Mel, for your presentation there, Mel?
Well, yeah, as you can see, my desktop is kind of busy. But yeah, I'm trying to open up. Oh my gosh, this thing is taking forever. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, we at some point we got to kind of transition out of this thing. I don't know, how long this is going to be, but at some point, what are we going to talk about? We just started to talk about each other now, pick on each other, and
why don't we talk about? I was one of those that was against the curfew when it happened, but I admit it, I was wrong. It did really good, and now that the curfew is lifted, people are screaming they want the thing back because neighborhoods like in Waimea Valley and up Anahola before was nice and quiet, real peaceful, but now those guys are out again with their cars, screeching, burning rubber, doing whatever, doing the devils, as we say, right?
No, I think we gotta continue to protect each other, right? We gotta continue to comply. But also, I did, in our last few minutes, want to bring up mental health. And that is a real thing. We know that our island has faced things like suicide, a high suicide rate, and there's a lot of good groups out there that are working to support folks that need help. The Kauai Resilience Project is one. There is, we do have our Suicide Free Hawaii groups that have a hotline. I know that's something that has affected us recently, and even we're doing so good together, but I think sometimes we need to reach out where we can and provide resources. So it's been hard, right? It's been hard to isolate. It's been hard to kind of come in, but where we can support each other in healthy activity and resources. I just reach out and ask folks to help in that area.
Well, it is, there's been a tough week. We've had some discussion. We brought on a Dr. Alex Bivens early on. He was one of our first guests, but in retrospect, in hindsight, I should say, I look back and, maybe it was too early. I think it was a good thing. But back then, everybody wasn't sure how bad this would get, how bad this crisis would get. And now we know, we're seeing it. And, we're going to talk about this on Tuesday night. We are going to talk about the issue of suicide. I was just on the phone this morning. I haven't even spoken to Charlie yet, but it's going to be a town hall format with several experts throughout the state, including our experts on Kauai.
Great.
So, but and it's really to just not just raise awareness, but to have some experts that can share to all of us on how we can cope and how we can recognize and how we can better handle this situation, because it's bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This week has been a bad week, and there's a lot of families hurting right now. Not just the financial but the personal hurt, because they've lost loved ones, young ones. And so Tuesday we're going to dedicate, that show will be all about that, and we'll go as long as we have to. But I'm hoping that we can make a difference and just raise that level of awareness, so that we're not so caught up with when we're going back work. And really irritating when you hear about people complaining about a curfew or a stay-at-home order, or a fact that you got to wear a mask when people are dying, literally, because this is just a stressful time for many people. And we want to make sure we reach out to those people and let them know that we love them, and that there are people there that care for them, and there are professional help available as well. So that'll be Tuesday, and I'm glad that was a great segue, Darcie. I so appreciate that.
I'm glad that you're doing that. Thank you so much. And just our thoughts and prayers with our families that are really hurting, and their loved ones. We're just gonna reach out to each other and lift each other up where we can. I appreciate that you're doing that. The more resources, the more that we know, the more we can help. Mahalo.
It's all of us. I kept saying, I remember after the hurricane, after Iniki, it felt different. I'll be honest with you, Darcie. It felt different. The community bonding, it felt different. I'll be honest. And I don't know, maybe the generation changed. I'm not sure what the heck it is, but a lot of complaining right now, a lot of grumbling, a lot of protesting, and we didn't have that in hurricane. And draw whatever conclusion you want. I'm not going to debate that. I'm just saying the feeling was different. I was a cop. I was a cop at the time, and I saw a lot of communities coming together. I saw a lot of, we had some issues, but for the most part, it reminded me back growing up Baby Time Day, where everyone shared, everyone was together, one big family. Now, I see that. I still see that, and I was hoping to pull up my pictures, because what I had on that screenshot, on that slideshow, was I don't know why it's not working, but was the West Side. And I know this is going on throughout the island, but that's the only pictures that I got access to. But showing the West Side communities working together in different parts of that community, taking care of each other, and that's where we got to get to. Mm-hmm. That's where we got to get to, that, because this is not going to go away soon. I don't care if we go another 2 or 3 weeks without numbers. The fact that the United States, the mainland United States, their numbers are rising. We better be ready to help each other, and I think that's what we want to try and do.
Yeah, and if anyone can do it, Kauai can. I think we've proven ourselves before, and we do have so much to be thankful for. We go out to the beach to exercise. But I'm seeing the fish and the turtles and the monk seals and the water so clear. And, it just seems like Aina is coming back into health and restoring itself. So there's a lot of great opportunities right now to see how to test and to understand. I've heard some ideas like, what if Hawaii took a month off? We implemented a fallow system where, we took a break and we let the land rest. And different ideas. I think there's a lot of opportunities for innovation that we can kind of put our foot down and say, here on Kauai, we have values. We have values for our Aina, we have values for each other, and use those values to guide us into what the future looks like. And I think there's been such a great show of leadership among those that we haven't seen before, hearing new voices speak up. So I'm hopeful. I know maybe people are complaining, but I'm hopeful because I'm seeing great ideas pop up. I'm seeing innovative ideas and a next generation of leaders that are going to see, what happens when we kind of step back and take a new approach.
Well, we are in a reset period, and hopefully our decision makers will use this period. I'll give you a real quick story, an analogy. When I had my stomach surgery many years ago, and I went to do my surgery, it went well. My weight dropped to about 179 pounds. I was at my perfect weight. That was the reset. That was the reset. And I remember telling myself, perfect. Now I'm at, I didn't want to lose the weight this way, but this is what happened now. I just got to keep it here. Well, I'm 225 pounds again. And so I didn't take advantage of the reset. And that's what's happening now. This country is having some major health issues. We have an opportunity to reset. Don't follow the Mel Raposo model and go gain all your weight back. Learn from that. And I'm hoping that's what happens.
Well, like I always tell my friends, if you get open heart surgery and boy, you ended up on the table and you don't know how you got there, that's the scary part. Because when you wake up and you see your loved one at the foot of your bed and you see one suitcase, the first thing you would ask is, hey, what's happening? And they're going to tell you, oh, you're getting medevac to Honolulu because something serious is about to happen and we have just this short window of time. When they tell you like that, it's very, very scary. So you try your best just to make the mistake again. And I think, even our overall economy, how we're going to run the state. I think we posed that question, right, Mel, to Mufi, that
yes, we do.
When we talk about tourism as an example, I think we got to look at tourism totally different. We got to know what Hawaii's capacity is, and we just cannot be packing them in like sardines. Because when it was packed in like sardines, yeah, everybody enjoyed our fat. But yet, a lot of us who are not part of the tourist industry, we were miserable because they were all over the place. We got to find ways of how to try to that balance. We got to make sure that balance is there so that we can coexist. It cannot be all one side, because if it goes on one side, some people will fall at the wayside. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I personally would like to see everything even right around. How do we do it? I'll be honest, I don't have the answers, but I think, like you said, Darcie, Mother Nature has its second chance. I think we got to be nice to her, and we got to do it right this time. That's the only way to do it.
We'll get to it. We will get to it. I am positive Kauai will get to it. It's just, like the hurricane, it was Kauai centric. We are at the whim of the entire world really right now with this virus. So, but we will. Kauai will get through this. We're at the hour. Darcie, any closing comments for the people right? It's the time to beg for money. It's okay. On this show, you can beg all you want.
Well, mahalo to all that have generously given. And if you are looking for a place for a charitable donation, Kauai Community Foundation, Kauai Strong Fund, we would appreciate your gifts. And Thank you so much, Mel and Charlie. Thank you
Thank
to
you.
your families too. Mahalo and aloha.
HawaiiCommunityFoundation.org. Is there a phone number that people can call that for information?
Sure. 245-4585.
245-4585. Write that down, people. 245-4585.
Yes.
Thank you guys all so much. Charlie, any closing comments before we wind this thing up? I know Darcie, I'm almost afraid to do the closing for Darcie because, yeah, she's like freaking out, like, oh my gosh.
One last comment, to everybody who so faithful in joining Mel and I every night we've done this. We can't thank you enough, but we hope that, again, we're getting the information out to you, and whatever you receive, darn well that, we really vetted it. So whatever we leave you with, you use it however you want to use it, okay? We're not telling you that you got to do this, you got to do that. We're telling you that it's here for the taking. Those people they've lost confidence in some of the messaging that's been coming up from our top administration in the state. And so what we've done is we've taken our experiences we've had as retired police officers and just keep on pounding the beat and try to get the information out to you folks. And we just hope that by bringing Darcie on, there's just one bit of the puzzle that, we've talked about COVID, we talked about doom and gloom all this time. Well, tonight we got a bright spot, a charitable organization that's helping the people of Hawaii. So thank you, Darcie. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And don't forget, tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, grandmas, single dads that are, all of you. You guys know who you are. It's a special day. So we are not going to be on tomorrow. So don't come on tomorrow. You can, but we ain't going to be here. But that's fine. Enjoy your moms, and for my mom who's no longer here, a special day for all of our heavenly moms as well. Let's wish them a very heavenly Mother's Day. Monday we come back, we'll have Tina Yamaki. Tina is the president of the Retail Merchants, Hawaii Retail Merchants, Retail Merchants Association. She's going to come and give us their perspective of the impacts of COVID on the retailers throughout the state. And it's going to be very, very interesting. And then Tuesday we'll have our suicide discussion. And Thursday, Representative Val Okimoto will be back, and she is going to be talking about some issues, including the prison release system during COVID-19. So it's going to be an interesting day. Wednesday, we don't know nobody yet, so we're going to find somebody. Wednesday, we're going to find somebody. Anyway, real quick, we have started this long ago to get people to flatten the curve, to get people to follow the rules. You're right. Our mayor started early. He put the knockout punch early. The governor followed. Everybody else tried to follow, but people still didn't listen. We tell people, stay at home. Don't touch your face. They keep social distancing and so forth. People didn't listen. So Charlie and I went out, tried to get deputized by the chief to go out and create a COVID patrol. We go out and arrest these guys who violate, and they'd have to stay with us for 24 straight hours. That didn't work either. So we came up with this. We're going to close every night. Every night we close with this song, and it's a song that Charlie wrote. And and bottom line is this: we tell the people, all the people, thousands and thousands of people that will watch this show, if you don't flatten the curve, then we will flatten your ears. So Charlie, here we go.
Aloha, everybody. Take care.
Look at your face. I love it, Darcie. You've been a great guest. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Hawaii Community Foundation. We see you guys Monday night, 7 o'clock, same place. Love you guys. Take care. God bless. Happy Mother's Day. Aloha.